I'm very glad that Breitbart decided to cap their article with that picture of Anthony Fauci doing the scare quotes, because I think that he is a doctor as much as he knows about coronavirus variants. But did you know that the UK coronavirus variant likely comprises, according to Fauci, 20 to 30% of the cases in the United States? What does that mean? Nothing. Nothing. What's the difference between the two? Nothing. Nothing. There's no science to back that up. As much as people just want to follow the science, there is no evidence that there are any different symptoms or any different way that it's transmittable. But no, be worried that 20 to 30% is comprised of the UK variant. How many is South Africa, South America variant? There's the Brazilian one. I don't fucking know at this point. There's one for every season, one for every country, one for every patient that Fauci has killed with his AIDS experimentation. Whoops, I said the quiet part out loud. Dr. Anthony Fauci, President Biden's chief medical advisor, should have been fired under Trump. Oh well. On the Chinese coronavirus, estimates Friday that the B117 variant likely comprises 20 to 30% of virus cases in the United States. The UK virus variant, which Fauci said is causing a significant degree of concern in Europe, but it's not that different, is getting more and more dominant. Ooh. In the US, the B117 variant is more contagious than the original strain. There's no study out there to show that. We haven't seen anything yet. This variant, as you know, is every day getting more and more dominant in our own country. It is first detected in the UK in December. It was reported in over 90 countries. The first US case were detected in the United States in Colorado at the end of December in 2020. Well, there's no direct flights that go from Heathrow to Denver, and as far as I know. They all land at JFK, so that'd be a reason why they're more spread out, I suppose. And since then, it is detected in 50 jurisdictions in the United States and likely accounts for more than 20 to 30% of the infections in the country, and that number is growing. Okay? The National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases director noted that about 50% increase in transmission with the variant and likely an increase in severity of the disease if infected with this variant. Likely an increase in severity. Where's your proof on that one? Oh, you don't need them because I'm a doctor after all. He cited one UK study that indicated 64% increased risk of death for those infected with the variant strain. Okay, is it transmitting faster? Well, can you get to the heart of the matter? You just want to throw out some more useless information. Again, identifying the strain as a growing threat in the country, Fauci emphasized that the importance of getting Americans vaccinated as quickly and expeditiously as possible with the vaccine that we know works against this variant. Yes, it works against every variant. We know this. Anyways, dumbass has been dumbass for a very long time, and lately he's gotten one hell of a great foil to his relatively unchecked, terrible takes on everything. And that would be Rand Paul. First and foremost, we got this HuffPost article because Rand Paul gets schooled on coronavirus variants after calling Fauci's masks a theater. What does he mean by that? We could read more of this HuffPost article, but I don't think anybody wants some Sunday afternoon cancer. Rand Paul Fauci spar over whether wearing masks after COVID vaccine is just theater. You see how things change? Okay. The other one is obviously pro-Fauci. It is the Huffington Post, after all. Yeah, that schools him over variants because there's a difference. I've cited one UK study. Meanwhile, didn't mention anything about its actual spreadability rates. Anyways, this is more Fauci propaganda. Stressed that vaccines and natural immunity do not protect against COVID variants. Senator Rand Paul and Dr. Anthony Fauci found themselves in another heated exchange at Thursday's COVID hearing in the Senate, where the Kentucky Republican accused Fauci of wearing a mask for theater after receiving a vaccine. Haha. Fauci stressed that vaccines and natural immunity did not protect against COVID-19 variants. How on earth could you quantify that? Oh, no, I get it. You just want everybody to be scared forever. That's why. Okay, I forgot that part. Paul expressed frustration at the nation's leading infectious disease expert prediction that Americans might need to wear masks until 2020. Paul pointed out to one study that found no symptomatic reinfections and another that showed natural infection would prevent the vast majority of people from being hospitalized from the virus for years to come. You're telling everyone to wear a mask, whether they've had infection or had a vaccine. What I'm saying is they have immunity, and everybody agrees they have immunity. Paul, who is an actual doctor, an ophthalmologist, an eye surgeon, told Fauci, "What studies do you have that people who have had the vaccine or had infection are spreading the infection? If we're not spreading the infection, isn't this just theater? You've had the vaccine and you're wearing 2 masks. Isn't that theater?" Paul continued. Here we go again with theater. Let's get down to facts. I would love it if you would for once, Fauci. When you talk about reinfection, you don't keep in the concept of variants, and that's an entirely different ballgame, and there's a good reason for a mask. Okay? But of the variants that we know, are any of them not covered by the vaccine? Are they not covered by previous infections by different types of strains? Fauci pointed to a South African study by Johnson & Johnson that found that those who have been infected with the wild type COVID-19, meaning the original strain, had no protection when exposed to variants. Okay. I agree with you that you very likely would have protection from wild type for at least 6 months. There you go. There you go. Paul said there was no evidence of significant reinfections of COVID-19 after infection or vaccine, adding he didn't believe that there had been any hospitalizations after the 2-week period following full vaccinations. You're not hearing what I'm saying about variants. We're talking about wild type versus variants. But that's 6 months of protection, though. How about that? What study has found reinfection with severe symptoms with variants? You're making policy based on conjecture. You've been vaccinated and you parade around in 2 masks for show. You're defying everything we know about immunity by telling people to wear a mask that you have been vaccinated. You want to get rid of the vaccine hesitancy, tell people they can quit wearing masks after they get the vaccine, said Paul. Instead of telling them the nanny state's going to be there for 3 more years and you've got to wear a mask forever. People don't want to hear it, and there's no science behind it. Exactly. Even the studies that you trot out, you're just immediately debunked by just even a cursory amount of reading. But guess what? Paul wasn't done yet. God, no. Ripped Fauci about being unconcerned with liberty and not being honest with the American public. But I thought that this administration at every level was all about transparency and honesty. Almost got through that. White House Chief Medical Advisor Dr. Anthony Fauci, you know the man, is not being honest with the American public when to wear masks, Rand Paul said on Tucker Carlson tonight. At one point, Paul called Fauci double masking theater, which visibly annoyed the immunologist. Not a very good immunologist, let's just be frank and upfront about that. Here was Dr. Fauci's opinion, his conjecture, and someday there might be a coronavirus variant that escapes the control of the vaccine and becomes a pandemic that hospitalizes and kills people, but there is no evidence it has happened and thinks it might happen. So you need to wear a mask until he's sure that things that might happen are not going to happen. Paul went on to describe Fauci as unconcerned about liberty, adding that burden should be on him and other bureaucrats to prove that their dictates or recommendations are necessary. There are no news reports or scientific studies saying after vaccination that there is some sort of widespread contagion that people who are vaccinated are spreading the disease. In fact, it is 100% to the opposite. You just need to look at the asymptomatic spreads. The studies are out there. I've covered them in different videos as well. It is a mathematical less than 0.001% chance of spread via asymptomatic people, i.e. healthy people. It doesn't happen. And Paul is 100% right on this one. He's unconcerned about liberty, and he just wants to make sure, this is Fauci after all, that him and his bureaucrats have as much control over the American population, and wherever the American experts want to go, the rest of the world is sure to follow. We seen that in the first video today, with the UK getting their own version of the Black Lives Matter riots in the form of whatever happened in the fallout of Sarah Everhard. It's no longer about that. And up here in Canada, we have weekly protests about lockdowns that get shut down, closed down by overzealous police officers. I'm just doing my job, just following orders. Because of the likes of Theresa Tam and Anthony Fauci, just wanting their emergency powers to be put on for as long as possible because they just love being in front of the camera. They just love when people pay them attention, because otherwise they're just very unsuccessful at their regular jobs. And I just can't wait until we never, ever, ever have to see his little puppet face on TV ever again. So yeah, I just thought that was a little funny spat that was going back and forth. And once again, Rand Paul proving why he is quite possibly the best senator, and if not, at least in the top 3. I think we can go ahead and settle on that one. He's not staying in his lane. He's making sure the bureaucrats are being properly checked. And we're going to need that, very much so, for the next 2 years. And frankly, we need that for as long as possible. I'd love to see senators from the other side of the aisle, the Democratic variety, also do this, but we see that the ideology runs deep, and it's not likely to happen, at least with this crop of senators. So guys, do enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And we'll catch you tomorrow with who knows what, but we can guess that it's probably going to be something about limiting your rights and freedoms. With that said, I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.